I think what we're seeing with a lot of organizations is even the data sources where we're pulling a lot of that scope 3 information isn't necessarily automated yet. Even some of the scope 1 stuff, maybe the diesel, propane, fuel, some sites are still writing that down on pieces of paper and logging it somewhere. And so as long as the user has a spreadsheet they can upload, we have really great upload tools where you can just upload the CSV and maybe spend more of your time on scope 3 now that your other integrations have been automated. We've worked really hard to incorporate an interactive chatbot in our platform. So it will actually, hold the user's hand throughout the journey, throughout those, 3 major steps, and really be there to support them along the way.
Tell me about ensuring that, what I'm submitting, really truly represents, where I'm at in my sustainability journey.
Finding data quality errors and erroneous data is next to impossible when you're working through spreadsheets. And so this platform really rolls up some of those metrics that you might be looking for. So whether you have any gaps in your data, what is your total percent completeness across your reporting year? And that can be kind of your final step when reviewing your data before you go into the emissions calculation, making sure that you absolutely don't have any missing data, because when it comes to emissions reporting, it's a lot better to even estimate than it is to have missing data. We have automated emissions calculations. So for users who are brand new to their journey, we have a library of about 15,000 emission factors. So what we've done is we've assigned defaults to those data points based on the emission factors that we have available. So as soon as they upload data to those points, they'll be seeing an emission factor attached with the emission scope. So if it's an electricity point, you'll see a scope 2. And then depending on the emission factor, it'll be, purchased electricity location-based or market-based. And so that'll all be taken away from the customer decision-making and done automatically. What you're looking at now is all this data that's been uploaded. You'll see this total use column. That's all the consumption data that was uploaded into the platform. And then on the far right, the total emissions column, which was calculated in minutes of uploading the data. You're going to see those emissions totals. And you'll see here, we have the option for complexity for those users who really do know their stuff and want to get into the weeds and switch up the emission factors. It's kind of a choose your own adventure. But we also have some templated dashboards. Our dashboard tools are really dynamic and allow the user to kind of create the templates that they want to export. I said upload the data and your emissions are calculated automatically. You're also going to see these dashboards populate automatically as well. Wow. So as long as they're aligned to those reporting categories, like we talked about, purchased electricity, in scope 1, we're talking about fugitive versus mobile combustion. And then we have all of the scope 3. There's about 15 reporting categories through the CDP. This dashboard covers all of those as well. And so you have your templated dashboard. You can then share this, with internal stakeholders if you need approval before sending it out, or you can export this entire thing into a CSV and view it that way. And then with that, take that directly to your reporting entity. So what we're looking at right now is a custom dashboard that any users can create. We've made them as simple as possible so that users can really build upon them. And so what this is showing is, organization-wide scope 1, 2, and 3, broken down year over year. And then what sustainability managers can then do is, if they're trying to drive results in their company, start to look at how are my sites stacking up against each other? Where are we seeing the highest scope 1, 2 emissions? And then taking these can be emailed, they can be sent on a schedule. So maybe you want to send these out on a monthly basis for your most involved facilities. And then really get those sites, starting to act on the emissions that we're seeing. The sustainability manager is no longer working in a silo where they're just dealing with people's data and reporting on it. And no one really knows what's going on. When people start to see their own data populated on, graphics like this, I think there's more of a tendency to want to get involved.